Hello and welcome to Stream of Consciousness. If you are clicking onto this video, my name is Queen Bergen, and this is going to be a live completely dedicated to talking about beliefs, consciousness, creating our realities, and just literally a stream of whatever is going on in my mind. So if you are building something, growing something, creating something, and inside of your mind you're curious about somebody else on that same journey, then you are at the right place. I am live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. EST. I'm usually live for about 30 minutes or so. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. So if you hop onto any one of those, you can engage with me in conversation. Ask me about anything that you have going on creatively, and we could just talk about whatever it is you are building, because I'm pretty much in isolation as I build. I don't know about you, but I am constantly trying to find more creatives who are building at the capacity that I am. It's hard for me to find people who are doing what I'm doing at the level that I'm doing it at. So if you are one of those individuals, please follow, please subscribe, DM me. You know what I mean? Let's really have a conversation, because we're a rare breed. We are a rare breed. And you know what it is? Like, I feel like I'm genuinely meeting more people who believe their capabilities are higher than their actual output. That is a difficult thing. You ever meet somebody like that, where somebody has like the conversation, the talk, or the bras of somebody who can execute at a high capacity, but their world doesn't look like the capacity at which they say that they can operate at? That one gets me all the time. That one gets me all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, blessings, blessings. And I think that it's an interesting place to be in, because I'm competing right now for the World Championships of Public Speaking, right? It's the largest stage, at least this year, that I've been on. And I'm super excited to do that, because I'm competing against people from all around the world. And I have a lot of folks who are talking about how they want to help me or how they want to be a part of that process. And I appreciate every single person who says that to me. But it's hard, because you ever hear somebody tell you that you shouldn't take advice from somebody who hasn't been where you're going? There's some truth to that. I won't even say some truth. That's very truthful. You should not take advice from somebody who hasn't been where you're going, right? And I also feel on the other side that sometimes I end up getting advice from people from very unlikely situations. Has it ever happened to you? Have you ever been in a situation where you're talking to a child, or maybe even someone on the street who's just having some wild, crazy conversation, and they say something that triggers a thought in your mind? And you say to yourself, well, dang, I hadn't even thought about it like that. I didn't even think about it like that. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? When those moments happen, I want to listen to them, but I also have to realize, that separation. There's so many people right now who keep saying that, you need to learn how to be alone, like be with your own thoughts, be with your own self. You need to learn how to sit with yourself. And for me, I actually need to learn how to sit with other people. I sit with myself all the time. I don't do nothing but sit with myself. And I question whether or not it's real, if it's as healthy as I make it seem. Now, granted, there are some people who are completely distracted from their own reality. All right. You know those folks. You know that there are plenty of people on this earth who are distracted from themselves. And it's an easy thing to do. You could scroll all day. You could watch TV. You could be on internet. There are plenty of people who distract themselves with work. That's the worst. Oh, I do that all the time. What? Productive procrastination is a real thing. Productive procrastination is when you are busy for the sake of being busy, so that you can subconsciously say to yourself that I'm doing something, therefore I'm going somewhere. Not the same thing. Absolutely not the same thing. What? Oh my goodness. You don't know how many side quests. I am the queen of side quests, is what I am. Man, I love myself a good side quest. And it's weird, it's weird, because as I journal and write about these things, I'm like, okay, these are the things that I have to shift in my reality. These are the things I have to move over. But then when I look at it, I'm like, I mean, is it really that bad? Is it really bad to take side quests? Every person needs a good side quest in their life, a good shiny object syndrome. We all need one. Why do we need one? Because you don't realize the things that you pick up on those side quests. Think about it. When you play a video game and you take them little side quests, that's when you get the extra life. Or you could look behind the door and you could find the hammer or the tool or the map with the missing key for you to open the next door. That's why I feel like side quests are important. I'm not gonna hold you. There are some side quests where they should have been outside of your sides. You know what I'm saying? They should have been outside of your peripherals, is what they should have been. There are a few of those, and it's like, all right, I get that. But I am finding it quite difficult these days to determine what is truly healthy and beneficial to my creative process and what I'm doing, and what is a distraction to the actual goal. Because to be honest with you, there's nothing that I do that I couldn't call a distraction. Social media, streaming. Hi, I definitely should be writing right now, but I'm streaming. Is this a distraction? Or the fact that I turn this stream into 20 pieces of content, distribute them on my social media to increase my views, does that also not mean it's being productive? It's all like that. So what's up, everybody? What you doing? What you building? What kind of energy are you on? What does your routine look like nowadays? So my routine is largely in the morning, right? Once after a certain period of time in the day, my routine goes completely off, okay? My mornings are sacred times, okay? So this is how my morning goes. My alarm goes off at 5 o'clock in the morning. I am out and at the gym by 5:30 a.m. I am in the gym, and then I am back home by 7. I shower, get myself dressed and stuff like that. I meditate. I meditate for 10 minutes, turn everything off, close my eyes, and just clear. Not only do I clear, but I'm also, the purpose of me on meditation, I know a lot of people who try to meditate. So many people who try to do meditation tell me that they get thoughts cycling in their mind. Well, I can't quiet my mind. I can't get it to stop. All that is happening. I deal with the same thing. But to be honest with you, my concern isn't silence in my head. My concern is listening to the thoughts that keep spiraling. Because right after I meditate, I'm journaling. So if I'm meditating and I keep having thoughts in my mind, my goal isn't to eliminate them. They're there for a reason. They're trying to tell me something. Listen to them. Okay? Even if they seem mundane, or if they seem like they're just, write them down, because those thoughts are trying to show you something, because that's what your mind is cycling on. Either way, once I am done journaling, I am in the office. I'm in the office, and these last few days I have been writing because I have a speech to write. And over these next 7 days, I will be writing that speech. So today, I have been writing stories that stick out in my life. I literally have a document, of just random blobs. I'm not even writing the speech right now. I'm just writing random blobs of stories that stick out in my life. And it's been super helpful because listening, like as I'm writing it, I'm finding other stories inside of the story where I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting, because I actually got here because of something else. You don't realize that until you actually get those things out. All right. How do you manage to wake up at 5? Sleep early at nights? And if so, how do you manage to know when to work and when not to? Because the creative process at times is so ad hoc. Great question. So I wake up at 5 a.m. Because I set 4 alarms. So one of them is going to get me up out of bed. One of them is going to get me up out of bed. And I recently started doing that too, because I was waking up at like 6:30 before, but now I'm waking up at 5. The thing is, though, I've transitioned from being a night owl years ago. At one point, I was up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Even maybe a month or two ago, there were some nights that I was up at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But once you start experiencing mornings, you can't go back. It's almost like there is a dramatic shift. Waking up in the morning is how I believe the body should be functioning. My mornings are so sacred. Think about it like this. My mornings are the time of day where I have the most confidence in my abilities and who I am. The morning times is where you're going to have the most confidence and the most confidence and understanding in the abilities that you have. Why? Because the world hasn't tainted you yet. The world ain't moving, things ain't going on, all that stuff or whatever. The morning is what it is. Book recommendation: Miracle Morning. Don't even know who the author is. Who wrote this book? Hale Elrod wrote a book called Miracle Morning, right? The not so obvious secret guarantee to transform your life. Miracle Morning. That's the book I would recommend to any creative. I would recommend the book Miracle Morning to any creative who is trying to switch from being a night owl to a morning person. Because once you experience the energy, the vitality, and the confidence you have in yourself in the morning and getting the hard things done, it's very difficult to go back. Very difficult to go back, because the nighttime is not when that's supposed to be happening. There are definitely some days where I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna be out, but I'm definitely doing it like that. Listening to the thoughts that keep spiraling. Food for thought. Yes, absolutely. So I'm not going to hold you. I go through extreme measures to hear my own thoughts. I'm going to tell you a few of those measures that I do to listen to my own thoughts. Most people do not want to listen to their thoughts because it can go into places that they don't want to face. You know, usually the thoughts that you don't want to hear, those spiraling ones, are the ones that you're trying to avoid. The issue with avoiding them, like anxiety attacks or panic attacks, is that resistance is what brings you closer to that feeling. Resisting only makes it worse. Okay, it only makes it worse. But I'm going to tell you 3 things that I do to get closer to my thoughts that some people could consider extreme. So, number 1, I meditate. And when I meditate, I am only concerned about silence or documenting the thoughts that are cycling. So whatever comes into my mind, I'm writing it down. I'm keeping note of it. I'm being aware of it. And I'm asking myself, well, why is this showing up? I keep thinking about that girl, or I keep thinking about my mom, or am I doing enough? Okay, well, why am I questioning those things? I have to ask myself, because if I don't confront it, I won't be able to handle it. Number 2, I have done something called sensory deprivation. Has anyone in the chat done sensory deprivation? YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, anyone? Sensory deprivation. So this is a tool that I've done many times in the past before, where I go inside of a tub. It looks like a bathtub, and there's a door on the bathtub. You go inside of the bathtub. Inside of the water is Epsom salt, right? So it's like sea salt from the Dead Sea or something like that, right? A ton of salt. So much salt, in fact, that it allows your body to float on top of the water. Once you close the door, however, and you float, you are now in pitch darkness, floating as if your body is weightless. It is the closest thing I have experienced to death. Okay, closest thing I've ever experienced to death was sensory deprivation. The closest thing I have experienced to death was sensory deprivation tanks, and they changed my life. Right, I've done them a few times a year, and what happens inside of them is you are only left with your thoughts. In fact, it feels like you're just floating consciousness. That's it. You're just floating consciousness, and whatever comes up, it comes up. And I do my best to address those things as much as possible, because if you think that you are ignoring those spiraling thoughts, you're wrong. They're going somewhere else. They're going somewhere else. Hear me. Because all of those things are emotions, and emotions are energy in motion, which means they are going somewhere else. They are storing themselves somewhere else in your body. And if you want to get them out, that is my suggestion. So the second thing that I do is sensory deprivation things. The third thing I do is I be out in the trees. Oh, I be in a damn tree. When I tell you I be in a tree, I be in the trees. I go in the woods. I go on, and I have multiple different items and things like that. Like I used to think that was white people shit. You know, oh, you guys going there? I be going camping. I go kayaking. I go biking. In fact, my bike is charging right now. I'm gonna be in the trees today. Right? I'm constantly in the trees. That's what I do, right? And being in the trees is super helpful because it's one of the things that I could do that, like being in nature, period, because oxygenating your body and your brain is super helpful, right? So those are the 3 things, right? I also do another thing too, but we can't talk about that on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So those are the 3 things. If I were to give anybody recommendations to listening to their thoughts, right, really like without distracting yourself from them, meditation. And it's okay, let all them thoughts go in there. Sensory deprivation tanks, and then being in the trees. All right, You Are a Creator by Geo. Okay, hold up. I feel like you've forever given me book recommendations. You Are the Creator. Wait, is this you? Did you write this book? Was that a shameless plug? Ah, hold up. I think it was a shameless plug. Everybody, we about to look at this real quick. That's what we about to do. We gonna look at this real quick. Frank got a book. Frank got a book. Okay. So this is Geo's book. Oh, pre-sale right now. Limited signed copies, bonuses. Okay. A modern blueprint to wealth, purpose, and identity. Think and Grow Rich meets the hero with 1,000 faces, told in the first person so you can become the hero of your own story. How to reclaim your power, redefine your identity, and design a life that reflects who you really are. I love existing in this period of time. When I tell you I love existing in this period of time, I know, listen, I know, hold on, where am I? I know that the world and society is trying to tell you that everything outside is burning and it is on fire. But I promise you, right now is one of the greatest times in human existence to be alive. The amount of wisdom, knowledge, connection that we have right now in the world is bonkers. Okay? The fact that we could level classism in a way that we have never been before, ever. It has been the best time in human history for me to exist as I am. I couldn't exist, you know what I'm saying, other centuries, other millennia, right here. And I mean that across the board, Black, queer, woman, as a creator, streaming on the internet, to people all around the world, the greatest time in human history. But I truly say that because if it wasn't for the internet, and I'm hoping that everybody can hear me well because I got my other mic on. If it wasn't for the internet, I would not have been introduced to reality creation, which is crazy. I was raised in the church. I was raised Pentecostal. And if you don't know anything about being Pentecostal, that's church. And when you say words twice, you know what it means. It means is the serious version of the one word, mono word. You know what I'm saying? When you say it was church. I was in church 6 days a week and then twice on Sundays for the morning and the evening. And we had dinner at church. You know what I'm saying? I was always in church. And it was crazy because thank God church did not ruin my relationship with God. It was close. It was close. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? I was able to, God came through and was like, listen, I didn't tell them to do that. I didn't put that in their minds. I don't know what they was. But it's so interesting to me how many people I know follow religion, but live in a reality that they don't want to exist in. Then I'm thinking to myself, why are you religious? Like, what is the purpose of your spirituality if you can't create your reality? What is the purpose of it? Are you trying to save yourself from something? Like, what? You're doing this completely out of fear? Wild to me. I can't. But the fact that I have the internet is when I was introduced to Hermetic principles. I was introduced to reality creation. I could ask questions. In a way that nobody could have asked questions before. So we could talk about all the things that are going wrong in society right now, but we also need to have a conversation about the abundance of knowledge that we now exist in. Abundance. You know what I'm saying? And I love it. So shout out to Gio for the book. Shout out to Gio. Hold on, let me see. Lovely. The Creator's Creation. All right, when does the book drop? Gio, talk to me. Let me know when the book drop. Because I don't know, it says pre-sale, but like when will I get the book? Let me know in the comments. And for anybody else, because I think this book already sounds fire, I'm going to add this to the live. Boom. I got you, Gio. You were here every time. What's up, Tiff? Look at you. I know you out here looking like a bundle of sunshine. I already know you out here looking like a bundle of sunshine. I know you out here doing your big one right now. I can only imagine. Oh, did he? He dropped the book and left the live? Oh, that's crazy. You know what? I'm still gonna promote it because Gio be in my lives every day. I ain't gonna hold you because I can't see who's in my lives because they're spread across different things. But either way, shout out to you, Gio, right? Because it be books like this where I'm like, oh, great. So it's really a conversation about you will map your personal arc using an internal vision of your hero story, master your mindset, market your passions, identity becomes lifestyle, the principles. Man, yeah, I love living now. I really do love living now, man. Anytime I see something like this, I say to myself, matter of fact, look at Gio. Look at Gio. I need to show y'all Gio. Look at his happy ass. Look at Gio. Man's is like, I did it. I found the truth. I found the truth, and I'm just so happy. So Gio Dixon, creator of Master Your Mindset, Market Your Passion, and Manifest Your Purpose. 15 years ago, I was exactly where you are now, buried in debt, unsure of my purpose, and feeling like a failure. But through deep mindset work, aligning with my passions and real world problems, and learning to market authentically, I built a passion-driven business that supports my family and fuels my soul every day. Shout out to you. Oh, okay, he did right. Okay, shipping begins the week of September 16th. Okay, bet. Yeah, so we got to pre-sale that book. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Gio. We got to grab a copy of his book. You know, I'm always down to support. Oh, there's a founder edition? The Hidden Origin of Consciousness. Ah, I love this. I love this. You know what is crazy? Have you ever heard those? Sorry, I keep doing that. I'm gonna have to remove that that layout. You ever heard about those cassette tapes that people used to listen to in the 90s, maybe the 80s and 90s? People used to listen to the cassette tapes where it would be a bunch of affirmations like I am smart, or I'm skinny, or I am these things. And people used to make just the wildest jokes about that. You know, it's so crazy when I think about those tapes, you know, and all the little sitcoms that I watched, because it was usually somebody who existed in an identity separate from the one that they were trying to manifest. They keep repeating it, and then they would make fun of them for it. You know, a big guy is listening about how I'm being skinny, or somebody smart is always doing something dumb. Like, they used to make fun of people who said affirmations. They used to make fun of people who believed in manifestation because it sounds like woo-woo. It sounds like woo-woo nonsense. And I'm not going to hold you. There's a lot of that. All right. There's a lot of that. There is a lot of that. But I can't imagine not being curious about consciousness. I'd be waking up every day just trying to figure out, how am I able to do this? Like, what is this? Is it just me? Is it just me? Does anyone ever just pause and look at their hands? Just be like, damn, I'm here. I'm really here. I can't. How'd I do this? How'd I end up here? This is wild. Like, this is wild. Floating rock upon consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Live streams, Wi-Fi. We take all this stuff for granted. I be taking this all for granted. I just be like, what is going on here? Oh my goodness. I do that all the time, where I just got to remind myself that I'm here. I do that with words too. You know, I'll be repeating words like, wow, they really put that, they made milk. That be a word in the English language? Like, you know what I'm saying? No, it's not just you. My kids' questions are wild too. Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. Kids have the ability to say something that could really blow your mind. It could really blow your mind. The simplicity of a child's imagination. Matter of fact, being around a child makes you abundantly more aware about how much you don't understand reality. You ever had yourself a child who began the why game? Oh, that why game is different. Why is the only question in the world where, if asked, you must create a new answer every time. That is the way that why works. I'm like, okay, you gotta go to bed now. Why? Because you gotta head to bed. It's time for you to go to bed. Why? It's healthy for your body. Why? Because your body needs rest. Why? Because you can't stay up all day. Why? You know what? That's why I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. That's why I understand parents have gotten to the point where it's like, because I said so. And the unfortunate scenario is, well, why? Why is the only question in the world that when asked, you then have to give another response, right? Why is a serious one. And I be asking why about everything. I ask why about everything. I was that kid, so I know when I have children, they're gonna do the same. Anybody in this chat got kids? Because I'm curious if your kids act like you or have characteristics like you do. Because if that's the case, man, my little one gonna ignore me. Oh, look, Gio's back. Everybody, welcome Gio. Welcome, Gio, back to the chat. Everybody say hi, Gio. Everybody in there say hi. All right. So I want everybody to say what's up to Gio. Look who has returned. Yep. Yep. How did that link get there? Yep. Because I realized that you was the one selling the book. You feel me? I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and do that for you. Let me go ahead and do that for you. But I come from a people. I come from a place. I come from a universe of folks who is who's interested in consciousness, and I love having conversations about consciousness. Exactly. That's what you get out here just trying to pop in, pop out. But I was like, nah, I gotta tell people about your book, right? He has a book called You Are the Creator. Pre-sale is open right now. And honestly and truly, I think everybody make sure you cool. We got mad love for Gio and a thing. Okay. I go to YouTube. That's funny. You were the Y kid? Ah, yes, great. And the Y kids, them kids who always kept asking why, them folks are engineers, doctors, and the leaders of the innovations of tomorrow, bro. If you have kids that keep asking the question why, I know it's frustrating. I know it could be annoying, but you need to take a moment and thank God, because there's going to come a time where critical thinking is going to be the minority in the individual mind. Critical thinking is going to come to a crisis. I'm not saying we're there yet, but there are plenty of people who are doing their best to offload their thoughts process to something else. There are so many people. Oh, that's the old. It's up now. Oh, you got a new one. Up. See, you wasn't around to let me know. You wasn't around to let me know. Okay, hold on. Let me get the new one. Oh, he's right. This is the new one. Look at everybody. Look at this. Look at this. This is the new one. He did. He done updated. He done identity shifted. That's what that's what I'm talking about. Oh, this look nice. Nice. Okay. Oh, it's a free copy. Wait, no, because it was okay, because you pay with you only gotta pay for the shipping and handling. Can I get it now or is this pre-sale? Excuse me. I think this is instant access. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna grab that. All right, I updated the link, so anybody who's clicking on the link, you can check out that book from Gio. You know, Claude is a real game changer. You ain't got to tell me twice. You ain't got to tell me twice, man. I'm not even gonna hold you. I might have to donate a bottle of water to some of these communities, because the way I'll be out here using AI like nobody business. You know? So you gonna give me a copy? Oh, wait, hold up. Your link was removed due to potentially unsafe content. Dang, Gia, what you put on this, John? Can I add another link? You know what? Tell you what, I don't know why it would do that, but here's what I am going to do. I could just pin your comment. Since the interwebs want to be like, nah, bro, this ain't safe. This ain't safe, Gio. They coming for you. You can't be out here trying to tell people that they the creator of their own reality. You can't say them words. You know what I'm saying? You can't say them words. I think I'm following you, Gio, so you should be able to DM me. Hopefully it goes in my primary, because if you go anywhere else, you're going to end up in a danger. You're going to end up in the danger land. I ain't going to see it. I ain't going to look for it. I'm not going to, none of that. Yeah, I'm following you. All right, cool. Yeah, you should be able to DM me and let me know. Okay, so now, as I was saying, what was I talking about? And this is the thing about stream of consciousness. That's the problem with the stream of consciousness. I'm just focused on whatever is coming into my mind, but hopefully helpful to the people who are listening for any aspect of what you got going on in your life right now. But we're talking about critical thinking. 100% critical thinking is on a struggle bus today. Dang, it really is. I ain't gonna hold you there. You know, it's a serious scenario right now. It's a serious scenario right now, but I am so thankful I was born. I'm a 1900s baby. Yes, indeed. I was born in the 1900s, and that completely revolutionized my life. Thank God. Oh my goodness. When I tell you, the universe literally mixed a magical concoction the day I was born and made sure. It's like, nah, she gonna need before the internet, she gonna need this in order for me to survive and all those kind of things. Cause telling people that telling people that you can create your own reality is dangerous for more than one reason. And I'm not saying dangerous in the sense that it's like for your body, because I don't want anybody to fear the idea that like, oh, you're the creator. But I think it's more so uncomfortable. I should really say that. Like knowing that you are the creator of your own reality could be uncomfortable because that makes you responsible. Responsibility ain't something many people want to deal with. Who wants to be responsible? You know what I'm saying? That's why children are free because of their lack of responsibilities. Being responsible for anything outside of yourself means that you have to, like, you get to live in a colorful universe filled with happiness and joy. You know, you're not concerned about things operating the way that they need to or things moving the way that they need to. No, you're just existing. The discomfort with knowing that you can create your reality is that you are then responsible for the reality that you create. And you have to go through some level of grieving who you used to be before you had awareness. You have to grieve who you used to be before you had awareness, because awareness will shift your whole universe. Now, all of a sudden, you're trying to be angry and mad at somebody, but then in the back of your mind, you're saying to yourself, oh, you know what? They probably are dealing with things at home. You know, they probably had a difficult childhood and upbringing, and, you know, it really concluded to what's happening right now. You know, I mean, how could they have learned how to love me because they didn't experience that for themselves? Now I'm out here rationalizing thoughts. And now I'm out here expressing feelings, showing empathy. It changes you. It changes you, right? It absolutely changes you, not just you, but also how you view the world. Because once you realize that you are in charge of creating your reality, you will then equally understand consciousness, which means you are connected to the all. There is no disconnect between me and you. I know that we keep trying to create that, and we have that here on the third dimensional realm. Cool, I understand that. But when we leave, we together. When we leave, we back to where we started. I was like, what? I told somebody that. I had a whole conversation with somebody like that, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but I'm queer. And in being queer and somebody who was raised in the church, many times I was told that I would be ousted to the pits of hell. Hell is where I would reside when my life is over. So most recently, somebody else asked me, it's like, how do you believe in God? Like, how do you be having all these things with God when you know that, you know, this is a sin? You're going to end up burning. You know what I'm saying? Why on earth do you continue to believe in God? And I was like, we need to have a conversation. Yes. And it is because I don't exist there. That isn't real to me at all. At all. Hell is on earth. Heaven is on earth. If you want to find it, it is simply about you aligning with it, not dying with it. I promise you, there are people who woke up this morning in hell today. There are people who woke up this morning in heaven, in complete and total bliss. Man, I'm not scared about that. No. In fact, I know exactly what death is going to be like. I got you all. I don't know if you came here for this, but I got you all. I got you all. Okay? I'm here for it. Death is going to be like the day before I was born. Oh, how comforting. I was like, oh, really? Thank you, God. I appreciate you for letting me know. You are the creator of your own reality. You are. But these conversations I couldn't have 10, 15 years ago, because there are far more people who are having conversations about you being in charge of your consciousness, you being in charge of your identity, you being the creator of your reality. We are having those conversations now. And of course, some people are going to look at it and be like, yo, it's kind of woo-woo. I ain't really on that. That's fine. I ain't out here. I'm not religious. So I'm not out here trying to bring people over at all. Do what you do. Oh, there's a lot going on in the chat. Okay, cool. So we have awareness of others, unawareness makes blame difficult. Yes, a sin according to who? People have a very small view of God. Yeah, unfortunate scenario. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Bar. Many people don't know what God is. Yeah. I mean, it's also a connotation, right? That's one of the topics that, particularly even when I'm talking about it, or I'm like, I don't do speeches about it. I don't really create a ton of content. The only thing I like praise and worship on my page and stuff like that. But the real reason is because if I say that, then there's a connotation. And by connotation, I mean everyone defines it differently. Everyone defines it differently. So I'm not in the business of having a conversation about definitions. Interchangeable, consciousness, God, universe, source. I don't care. I don't care at all. Pick your one. You know what I'm saying? I don't care at all. I'm not interested in none of that. I'm just I and I. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I and I. That is all. That is it. Now, in the process of me going through this reality creation, I think one of the things that I've had to deal with the most, right? The thing that has like truly made it difficult, not me going to hell or heaven or whatever the hell anybody talking about. The most difficult thing for me in terms of reality creation, or even just in general, I believe the most difficult thing for any human being with reality creation is time. Time is the most difficult aspect of manifestation, of creating your reality, of changing your consciousness, of identity shifting. Time is the most difficult thing. It is the most difficult thing because when you decide that you want better for yourself, when you decide that you want to shift your reality, you want that to happen now because you're making the decision because of a pain that you exist in. You want to shift your reality now because of a problem that you have or because of something that's going on. Nobody changes their life when they're comfortable. That's not when that happens. Nobody changes their life when they experience levels of comfort and they have stability. Of course not. They want to change their life when things get uncomfortable, when they get the one emotion. There is one emotion that you can use that 100% of the time shifts your reality. There is one emotion that if you were to embody it, truly feel it in your body, you are guaranteed to change something in your life. And that one emotion is disgust. Disgust. If you can hold the feeling of disgust in your body, where it's like the feeling in your body when you say to yourself, I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this anymore. I can't be under that ideas. I can't be in this space anymore. Today is the last day I will ever experience something like this. When you experience disgust, that is when you are going to be okay with the discomfort. Because in your soul, you're going to say to yourself, I would rather be uncomfortable than feel the feelings of disgust that I now have. You have to get to that point. You get there, solid. Because the thing is, there are so many times in my life where I wanted to make a change, but I wasn't in enough pain to do it. I'm like, dang, I really should not do something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't in enough pain to do it. Hi, what's up, MJ? How you doing? Welcome to Stream of Consciousness. Welcome to Stream of Consciousness. You are here just to hear the thoughts that are coming out of my mind. That's it. Hopefully it sparks something in you. Hopefully it gets something going. All that, That's what we're here to do. Stream of consciousness, But disgust. You get yourself some disgust. You out here. You out of this world. That's it. You out of this world. A woman resilience mentor from France. Ooh. Yo, it's crazy because I be feeling like so many people be coming from overseas, So many people be coming from overseas. But man, when you get to that point, when you start feeling that is what is going to shift your identity. That is what is going to truly shift your identity. And if you want to build that up, you just got to, be more conscious about what it is that you don't like about what's going on. And if you don't, you have to not like it more than the experience of shifting that reality. That's the thing. That's the toss up. That's the toss up. You know what I mean? Oh, from Ghana? See, look, we got Ghana, we got France, we got New York, London, South Africa. I don't know how y'all, what's up? Yeah, the fact that I live in a time now where my voice can resonate, people's ears can hear me across this planet. That's what I'm saying. The greatest time in human history. Don't let nobody try to convince you that right now is a terrible time to live. Don't let nobody convince you of the beliefs and the thought process that they have in their head so that they can create the reality that's going on in yours. Don't let them do that to you. I don't care how real they make it seem. Don't let them do that to you. Because I'm telling you right here, right now, whatever reality you want to exist in, it can happen. Easy. Easy. But the biggest issue, and that's what I was saying before, the one thing that comes from me is, oh, we got Kenya in here too? What up, Kenya? But the thing is time. Time is the hardest part when it comes to creating a reality. Time is the hardest part about you making the money that you want to make, or, you know, getting the relationships you want, starting your business. Time. And the reason why time is the way that it is, because when you plant the seed, it's not the same day that you eat the fruit. And so many times you put that seed inside of the soil, not even realizing that, one, we could be putting the seed in sand. You know, we thinking that we got the seed down in something that's going to be able to grow, but then you learn after a few days that that isn't going to work. And now you have to repot your plant. Or there are some times where people are putting seeds into the ground, but because they're not seeing the fruit that same day, they're digging it back up to try to figure out what's going on. Or they go back to not watering exactly what exists that they wanted to build and grow. Time is the most difficult part. Time is the most difficult part because by the time you want your life to change, you want that change to happen now. You want it to happen now. But the problem is, when I wanted to make a shift, like if you go to the old videos on my Instagram right now, I used to weigh 100 pounds more than I do right now. Some of the pictures in my background even look like that. If you were to see a photo of me back then, matter of fact, let me put one up. I'm gonna show you what I used to look like before. Now, I don't even like look at these images of me, you know, back then as often as I do, mainly because it's like I just feel so, I'm like, I'm definitely not that person. But when I tell you, I did not start losing weight until I was disgusted with the habits that I was having in my life. I did not stick to it until I was this, and I said to myself, I would rather deal with the discomfort of change than to live in the current of my own patterns. I would rather deal with the discomfort of change. And that change, by the way, because I've been big my whole life. So when you're going to make a shift, when you're trying to change something, the reason why time is an issue is because you're trying to change something immediately that you have been compounding for months, for years, and for decades. For decades, I was eating the way that I was eating. For decades, you know? So it's just like the moment I'll be like, okay, yeah, I want to shift, I want to change, I want to do all these things, but you want it to happen when you want it to happen, not realizing how many, not only how much time, but how many beliefs you stacked on top of each other. Oh, you know, healthy food doesn't taste good, or going to the gym hurts, or I'm scared about going here, or people are going to judge me, or, you know, it doesn't actually work, or all those things that you've stacked on top of each other. All those things you stacked on top of each other. A completely different person. A completely different person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I looked real different. Matter of fact, hold up, let me show you. Da-da-da. Is this? Completely different person. And this was also, I even started working out here. I even started working out when I was on at this point. Matter of fact, let me see if I could find oh, I gotta go to Facebook. You know, because this is where I was at before. And it wasn't until I truly experienced the feelings of like, yo, I can't live like this no more. You know, it was right before I turned 30 years old. And that's like, that was the moment I started shifting my identity. And I've been shifting for years, by the way. That started in 2022. The patterns of me shifting my identity started in 2022, and I'm still working through that right now. The same problems. Years it took me. But I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that whatever it is I'm going through, I got to wait years for it to be solved. For what? Why would I want that? Why would I want that? Matter of fact, look at this. Does anybody know who this is? Anybody know who this is? Man, I feel disgust with self now because everyone I know advice you could do better, you could do better. I want to know what you want to tell me. Hold up a second. I'm gonna read that one over right now because everyone I know's advice is you could do better. You know the thing about you could do better is that the statement is never not true. There is no scenario in your life where that statement isn't true. Okay? Because all the statement really says is that you can improve. And so long as you have consciousness, so long as you are alive and well, you can improve. You know, you can improve. I was just as big as Fat Boy. You know what I'm saying? We was both like this, man. This was me, you know, this was me in 2016. I feel like I'm a whole different human. But when you say, I want to know what you want to tell me, are you talking about the people who are telling you that you could do better? Or are you asking me for advice? Because I'm curious. And the real thing about it is, though, if you experience disgust, you're saying, I feel disgust with self now. Self is a 100% being. And it is so important that when you experience any feelings of disgust or self-doubt in who you are, that you do not ascribe it to your entire existence. Because I could undoubtedly find some aspect of your life that you are not disgusted with. I know I can. Because you're here. There's something about your life that you're saying like, yo, no, I like this. It's these things that I have an issue with. So it's really important to not ascribe it to your entire self. And I've been doing that recently because I've been dealing with self-doubt. I've been dealing with self-doubt about what it is that I'm building, right? Right now I'm going for the World Championships of Public Speaking. In order for me to be a world champion, I'm like, whoa, I gotta be the best in the world. Is this really where I should be? Is this really what I should be doing? Am I qualified for this mission? I'm stepping into a new identity. And it's not a conversation about whether or not I'm ready or like, okay, cool. There's still an identity shift that has to happen. There is. Anytime I talk to somebody about that, they're like, of course you are. You've been that. You've always been that. And I understand that people are trying to be encouraging, but we have to be in the reality of where I was living in a separate reality and I am now elevating to my next one. And in the process of elevation, telling me that I was already there isn't necessarily the way for me to get there, you know? But now, okay, so you're saying it because you want advice, for sure. But then I have to ask you what you're disgusted about, like what part of self is, you know? And I think that and maybe my conversation about self-doubt is going to be helpful. So shout out to anybody who is right now in the comments or still watching over here. This is Stream of Consciousness, where we specifically just have conversations about consciousness, belief systems, reality creation, and what it is that we're doing and what it is that we're building. Whatever it is that you got going on, because hearing about those things or being in connection with other people who are also doing that, I am not here to victimize anyone or anything. That is I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. I believe in victory. In fact, most people will call me a prosperity gospelist. You know what I'm saying? I'll be talking about that. I'll be talking about how we could overcome and find victory. You know what I'm saying? But we do that by facing the thoughts and patterns and beliefs that we have so that we can end up creating the reality that we want. Will it happen instantaneously? No, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I'll give you every piece of advice that I have used. And I'm also going to tell you that I have been consciously doing it for over 4 years now and still working towards it. Consciously. Because I know that there were times where I was doing unconscious things and all, but to be consciously aware about creating my reality, I've been doing it for 4 or 5 years. I started consciously creating my reality in 2021 or so. So that 5 years. 5 years. And I'm still out here being like, dang, man, no matter how, I don't look the same, I don't sound the same, I don't move the same, I don't live the same, I don't talk the same people. I've completely identity shifted. But every time you find something about yourself, you can always keep saying, I could do better. I could do better. I could do better. And for anybody who's giving you advice about how you could do better, I need them to be more specific. More specific. If you believe I could do better, what is better? What is better? Because they don't exist in your consciousness. And your consciousness is where your belief systems exist, where your subconscious patterns exist, where your childhood traumas exist. They don't exist there. They don't exist there. And if anybody says to you that you could do better, I need you to turn and look at them and tell them that they could do better too. And if they are on that process of doing better, then the best thing they could do for you is to help you on yours. And if they can't, then you have no business asking me for advice. You have no business giving me advice. Correction. You have no business giving me advice. What does their reality look like? What does their reality look like? And if it doesn't look like anything that you want to experience, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Okay? Save yourself the energy. Save yourself the energy. Because I don't know fully how this works. I'm going to be honest with you. Matter of fact, there are people with doctorates. There are people in institutions at the top levels of government still trying to understand consciousness, still trying to understand energy. And we take that, John, for granted. We just be like, oh, we're going to watch this and it's not going to affect our minds. Or we listen to this music, it's not going to affect our minds. Or we listen to, even if somebody says something, they'll be like, oh, they're saying something that is negative or whatever. Oh, I don't really listen to it. I don't really pay attention to it. That is not the case. Whatever goes in goes somewhere. It goes somewhere. Don't let them create the reality that you want to exist in. I'm only going to be on here for a few more minutes. So please talk to me about what it is that you are trying to create with your reality. And if you have self-doubt, when I tell you how recent my self-doubt is, I'm going to have it when I get off of here. It's never going to go away. Your self-doubt is never going to go away. Stop trying to cure it. That's not the goal. You want self-doubt. I know I done said something that don't make no sense to nobody who's going to listen to it, but you want it. You want it in your life. And the reason why you want self-doubt is because it is the very emotion that triggers you the ability to learn and acquire new skills. If you already had the confidence to do whatever it is you need to do, you just be doing it, right? Some things you might even not do at all. Self-doubt is one of those things that shows you how you can grow and evolve. And so long as you are living, that's the goal. That's the goal. But most recently, literally in my last therapy session I had last week, no, it wasn't even last week, Monday, just a few days ago, I was in therapy. And when I was in therapy, I was talking about how I had self-doubt. And my therapist talked to me and he's like, well, what are you doubting about yourself? And I was like, what? I'm just doubting myself. And that is when he was like, well, what aspect of yourself? I wear so many hats. If you have seen me on social media, I be talking about grants, consciousness. I be, writing things. I shoot on my own videos. I make on my own content. I'm out here trying to be a public speaker. There's so many. You could be a mom. You could be a wife, a friend. You could be a church member. There are so many aspects of who you are as a person that saying you doubt yourself in its entirety is not true. There is some aspect of your identity that you are confident in. There is some aspect. And even if there are people who are confident that they are not lucky and they keep creating bad luck. There are some people who are so confident they be like, yo, I can really mess something up. I know how to mess something up real good. They are confident in that. They have no doubt in their mind, right? And then there are also people, right, who there are some places where I'm not even confused that if somebody were to ask me how to send an email, no doubt in my mind, I can show them. There's no doubt in my mind. I can show you how to send an email right now. I don't doubt the fact that I could do that. Just as much as I doubt the fact that I could stand up and walk right outside this room. I don't doubt it at all. But there are plenty of pieces of me that I doubt. Plenty of aspects of me that I doubt. Doubt is a signal that you are doing something that you have not done before. That is the signal. And if any part of you wants to say, I want to evolve, if there is any part of you that wants to grow and do something different, you're going to need it. You're going to need doubt. You're going to need doubt. Oh, I didn't even get the link. Hold up. 1 second. All right. My bad, because I was supposed to have a session today, and I was like, where is my session? Oh, it's on the 29th. Okay, my bad. I'm trying to see if I can get back in that session. I appreciate you for holding on. I'm currently having a giveaway of 1 month in my Treehouse program. You have a Treehouse? Where alignment meets focus towards victory, amplified with community and social media support. Is it a physical treehouse? I am intrigued. I do not believe I have ever existed in a treehouse. Or is this some fancy name for your program? So I'm working on allowing myself to sell the upgrade without stress. Facts. Yeah. Why without stress? Why don't you want to be stressed? Why don't you want to be stressed? Yeah, wouldn't it be great? See, because what you're saying, and I'm asking you this because if you're talking about shifting your reality without experiencing stress, then I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It's a digital treehouse. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm a little bit less excited. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit less excited. If anybody is talking to me about how they want to shift their identity, but they don't want to deal with struggle or stress, I don't know. I'm like, wow. Wow. That's crazy. Sometimes we also have to accept the fact that like the things that we want are going to come with like, sacrifices like that. I had that conversation with somebody else where I was just like, okay, how much are you willing to suffer to get to what you want? She was like, well, why do I have to suffer? Why is that necessary for the process? And it is because if it was easy, you would have already done it. And you have to face fears and belief systems that have got you stuck to where you are right now. So how do you imagine to do that and be comfortable at the same time? In fact, your suffering or the sacrifices that you make, those moments, those are the things that are going to truly make whatever it is that you're doing worth it. I worked hard for this. Right? 100 pounds down, bro. Oh my goodness, the days where I was like fasting, them days where I wasn't eating what I wanted to eat, or like, I couldn't with the friends or whatever the case may be, I had to sacrifice this. That's how I knew how much I wanted it. That's how I knew how disgusted I was. That's how I knew how disgusted I was. This was me. Peep this. This was literally me. Boom. That's crazy. I've come a long way. I've come a long way. Somebody saw that, they was like, whoa, look at that. This was only 176 weeks ago. And this is when I really started taking care, like when I was like, okay, yo, I'm going to shift. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this new identity. This is when I really started to make the change. This was 176 weeks ago. And I'm still dealing with the things that I was going through. Still doing it. Still doing it. Still creating my reality. So it's like, it's not going to happen quickly. It's not going to happen quickly, and you got to be willing to deal with that. Just I don't even say just a little bit, because it's going to keep happening. But I'm not trying to cure my doubt. I'm not trying to cure it. What I'm trying to do is reframe it. That's the only thing. Once you reframe self-doubt, you are golden. When you reframe imposter syndrome or the doubt that you have in your ability to do something as just saying to yourself that I haven't done it before, therefore that is why I doubt, because then it makes sense. It's not about you as a human being. It's about you and your experience with the thing that is in front of you. I'm sure none of you doubt the fact that you know how to use Instagram. You can click on an Instagram, you can click on a YouTube, you can click on a Twitter. You don't doubt any of those things. There are so many things in your life that you don't doubt. Matter of fact, there are so many things in your life that you don't doubt, that you take for granted the infinite set of things that you already have experience in. That's how much confidence you have in aspects of your life. You're so confident in some aspects of your life that you don't even question. It becomes menial for me to describe it to you. Menial. One of those things for me is driving. I could drive now. I've been driving since I was 16. Matter of fact, I am so confident in my driving. Sometimes I get in the car and I don't know how I got to where I needed to go. I don't even need to be fully conscious to drive. I'm so serious. I don't even need to be fully there. I just be my aunt. Oh shit! What the fuck? How we get here? How we get here? Oh shit! We home. Fuck it. Yeah, we home. All right, bet. I take that for granted. I take it for granted because, and it was not that way when I first started driving. That was not the case when I first started driving, right? That's the difficult part. That's the difficult part. Because like I said, time, the whatever you're doubting yourself in and you want to change, you want to shift into your existence, you want to change it. But the problem is that it's going to take time. And in that time, you will still experience doubt. So it's not about eliminating the doubt. It is about reframing it. Because if you reframe it, you can experience the discomfort for longer. And the longer you experience the discomfort is the greater chance of success you have for that seed to turn into fruit. It needs time. We have to create our reality like a garden. We have to treat our reality like a garden. And in order for something to grow, it's going to need time, nourishment, and effort. I get it, like wanting it as bad as you want to breathe, and it might include stress. Yeah. It might. It's not about whether it might. It's easier. You're gonna live an easier life. But the thing is, like, I'm not saying to be stressed for the sake of being stressed. I'm not saying to struggle for the sake of struggling. I'm talking about choosing a path you have not chosen before. That is my number one piece of advice for anybody who is trying to create the reality. Choose a path you haven't chose before. And I'm talking about the one that scares you. Not the one that you've been doing and you're trying to make it work and it hasn't really been working, but I really want to try it again because I want it to work. Not that one. I'm talking about the path that scares you. The one that utterly makes you cringe. For me, it was streaming. For me, it was being far more exposed on social media. Not necessarily because I couldn't speak or I couldn't talk or I didn't want to be in front of a camera, all those kind of things. It's because I was concerned, like, okay, well, what if I say something that's going to offend somebody? What if I say something that, gets me canceled? What if, people start to see my vulnerabilities? What happens when that occurs? What happens when that occurs? Right? So I started doing the very thing that scares you. Do that thing. That is the type of stress I'm talking about. I'm not saying just to be like, stressed for the sake of being stressed, because then now you just got your cortisol levels rise for no reason. But do the things that you are scared to do. Not the ones where it's like, okay, well, I can do this to make me move forward and I'm going to be okay with doing. I'm talking about the things that if I were to tell you to do that right now, you would look at me like I had 12 heads. I had somebody who came into one of my consulting calls and said that they wanted to They wanted to have a show. They wanted to put together their own show. They was like, yo, I want to go on tour with my band and I want to do all these things. I was like, go great. You're like, how many people you got in your band? She was like, well, I ain't got nobody in my band. I said, you don't even got no band? Okay, well, what do you play? And she was like, well, I played the guitar a few years ago, but I haven't really practiced, or I haven't really played. So I was like, you haven't even played your guitar? And then she's like, no, I just want to, but I need a band. I need other people around me so that we can vibe together. I said, all right, cool. I want you to grab your guitar. And then I literally looked up online where she was living at. And I was like, there's an open mic. It's happening tomorrow. Bring your guitar. I want you to go over there and play a cover song, whatever your favorite song is or whatever. She's like, what? I can't do that. That's not the same thing. You don't want it bad enough. You don't want it bad enough. Because the thing is that you don't want to do the little things, little pieces of discomfort, the things that scare you, that is going to take you to the big thing that you want to actually go after. Can't help you. I can't help you. You're going to have to talk to one of them viral coaches that could talk about they could save your life in 30 days. You got to talk to one of them. Because I'm going to tell you to take the path that scares you. I'm going to tell you to take the path that absolutely terrifies you. That's what I'm going to do. And if you don't want to hear that, if you wanted to be like, oh, I was really hoping that the answer would be, nope, not me. Not me, right? And yes, reframe, Charming. Reframing is the key. Whatever self-doubt you have in your mind, it's not because you could also be naming it other things, which is why I say it's so nuanced to whatever it is. If I were to hear somebody talk about what their issues were for 90 seconds, I could identify limiting beliefs in whatever it is that they just said easily, because I'm so aware of it now. I'm not saying I would know exactly how to transform your life, but I would immediately be able to identify where it's like, oh, well, I don't, I'm disgusted with myself. I don't like it. What's going on? I'm like, is it really yourself? Is it really all of you? Or is there some aspect? And then that person will be like, oh, well, you know what? It's like, I wish I was making more money, or I wish my business was taking off more. I'm like, okay, cool. So it's the business part. Well, how long have you run a business? Who taught you how to run a business? Is it a gap of knowledge here? Or is there a conversation about your value as a person? You see what I'm saying? You see there's more than what meets the surface. And the reason why it is like that is because we are onions. We are layered beings. It's not black and white. There are nuance. I know we're on the internet and the internet makes you believe that everything is black and white, but we are losing the art of the nuance. Nuance exists in every aspect of this entire plane of existence. There is a spectrum. Things exist on a spectrum. Doubt exists on a spectrum. Because you will look at somebody like Oprah and be like, yo, you doubt yourself? I look at somebody like Keith Lee, literally one of the biggest influencers of all time. And he's like, yo, I deal with social anxiety and I feel like I get cautious of myself. How do you do that? Because it exists on a spectrum. It will not vanish. You're not going to get rid of it. And it is there to protect you. It is there to protect you and to show you where you need to go. It's there to show you that. Oh, wait, hold up. Got a little doubt over here. I'm gonna head over there. Oh, snap. I'm a little scared about talking in front of people. That means there's something about me being exposed that I want to start having conversations about. Okay, cool. Now I am going to be hopping off this live. Okay. I wanted to, damn, was I able to do that? Nah, I don't think so. Because I was like, yo, I thought it was supposed to be on the 22nd and now I gotta wait. Okay. I'm gonna be hopping off this live because I need to get to the writing. Okay. Today I'm going to be writing just stories that are going on in my life because I am preparing right now to write my speech for the World Championships of Public Speaking. I am going to be the best speaker in the world. I'm currently in the top 25. And in less than 30 days, I will be going to Vancouver, British Columbia to compete against some of the best speakers in the world. Okay. I will be going there to compete. All right. Literally 29 days. I will be heading over to Vancouver and I'm going to be, facing the doubt, the fear, and all of the other things that are going to show up along the way because that's how bad I want it. I'm willing to take the risk. I'm willing to deal with the discomfort of going after what it is that I want to go after, So I truly, truly appreciate every single one of you that has entered into the live stream. I am live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. EST on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube to talk about consciousness, reality creation, and whatever it is that you are trying to create right now in your life as I created to. I am not talking to you from a pedestal. I am talking to you every day from a place of vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? A place like you know what I'm saying? Listen, life, there's going to be a lot of issues. I have come to terms with the fact that I have flaws that I will live and die with. But I also want to be there to help anybody in their process of creating their reality, because there is no matter who you are, there is some aspect of your life where you are becoming something better. And we could do that together, because now is the greatest time in human history for us to do it. It is the greatest time. There is so much opportunity. There is so much abundance. There is so much love. There is so much joy. Those people exist. Don't let them tell you otherwise. We exist for real, okay? So if you are interested in coming onto the live, be sure to come on 12 p.m. EST. If you are watching the replay on any one of those channels, comment down below what it is that you are creating for your life. What is it that you are building? I read every single one of the comments, and I will talk about it on the live stream. I really appreciate every single one of you, because I know that we are together. You are not alone in this process. I promise you. I promise you, you are not alone in this process, and you can create anything that you see, anything that you experience, anything that you have in your mind. You can create it, because you are a creator, and that includes your reality. So I appreciate every single one of you. Have a good rest of